So this is the second video in our series of the RHCSA practice exam questions. So the first one was with understanding and using essential tools. So we covered this in the previous video. So in this video, we're going to cover this objective. That's being able to create simple shell scripts, processing outputs, shell commands, and outputs from shell commands, and also using things like loop constructs, for example. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing and give a thumbs up and share if you know someone who might benefit from what we're doing here. So these are the questions we're going to cover, the task we're going to try to do in this particular video. And as with the previous video, we've got VMs that are running already, VM node 1 and 2. So I've got the terminal from that. Let me clear this from the previous video. So I'll clear this and make sure I am on. Let me just go back home. Yep, so host name, this is node 1, and then here host name, this node 2. Let's just start. First, let's see. The task here, it says create, or if we want to have a look at the objectives, we've already done that. So let's just go straight to it. So create a shell script that finds files in this location, and then the file should be this size, greater than 30K but less than 50K. Then it should write the results, or outputs the results to this file. In the previous video, we've seen how to use find. We've seen how to use find to locate files of different sizes and what have you, files owned by a particular user, files of modified in any specific time. So we're going to take that a step further to try and put that in a shell script. So where are we? Just here. Let me see if we can create a directory and go into it. So let's say we have a directory called scripts. This is not a requirement, but let's just so we can have somewhere to do our scripts in. So yeah, this is clean and empty. Good. So now first let's create a file. So let's call find a file a shell script. So you can call it anything. So we can call it so I'm using Vim for this as my editor of choice. You can use any nano, anything that you're comfortable with. So I'm using Vim for this, but that's optional, obviously. Vim, let's call it I don't know, find files. You can call it anything. .sh is just it's for you, it's just for readability to say it's a shell script, but that's also optional. If we just say find files of anything we call it, it's still going to run as long as we make it executable. We get to see that. So Vim, hit enter. This where we type. If it's Vim, I for insert mode, right? So we get to insert mode. This where we can type anything we want. Since it's a shell script, we have to start with shebang, bin bash. This just to say this is the shell we're going to use, the bash shell. So then we start. What's the if you want to add any comment to the to this, you can say script this optional, mind you. I'm just in case script to find files, just anything. Yeah. So this where it starts, but this is this a must. You must do this just so you're telling the system that this is the beginning of the shells. It's a shell script, and this is the shell you want to use for that. But this is just a comment in case you need that. No, go back up. Then okay, so now it says find file. So we already know what find is. So this a shell script, just a very short summary. it runs the same commands that you will be able to run on your terminal. So here it's just you trying to have somewhere to run a series of commands. So but the difference in most cases is that you can do things like use loops, maybe while loops, if loops, maybe for loops, things like that. You could still do that from terminal, but then you have a single file that is doing a lot of things, and you can execute that. That will just run. So let's say we already know how to use find, right, from the previous video. If you've not watched that video, please go to part 1. That should be the part 1, and see how to use find command. And another option would be to just use man pages for find, right? Just say man find, of course, yeah. So just man find, and then you read everything you need to know about the command. So yeah, find in this location /usr files. So it says files. So type file, and then size. I think we used size in the previous video as well to find between files of these megabytes and that 3. I think I still remember 3 MB and 10 MB. Please watch the first video just in case. The size, I want that to be, it says greater than 30K. So plus 30K, the syntax lowercase k, and then but it should be the same size again, should be greater than, it's greater than 30K but less than 50K, and then output, you put the file. So as I said, this double arrow will append to the end of the file if the file exists already. If it doesn't exist, it will create it, and then but in this case, since it does not exist, it's optional. We can do this, but it overrides. You just need to understand this, just so if you're modifying, if you're adding to a file that you do not want to override the contents, rather you want to append, keep that at the back of your mind. So yeah, that's why I just mentioned that for you. 50, and then we want that to go to root. Sized, the name is sized files.txt, and yeah, that's it. So we want to find a file here and redirect that to root sized files.txt. So that's it. If that's the end of the shell script. If I escape : that's if you're using Vim, right quit. So the file is there already, find files.sh, the script. We've created the script, we're done, but we need to make sure that this file is executable. What do I mean? If you ls-al, you need to see, this is the user. These 3 parameters are for 3 fields are for user, these are for group, and these are for others. You can see none of them can execute the file, so it means this file is not currently executable. To do that, also I think I did something similar in a previous video. Please watch part 1. Yeah, it's becoming like a song now. Watch part 1. So chmod plus execute. I want to make this find files.sh executable. So if I hit enter, now we repeat that ls-al, you can see the color has changed, but the color is not important. What's important is the permissions. Now we've got anyone can execute. Yeah, so if they say maybe only the group should be able to execute, then you do you make the file executable only for group. But that's it. To run this, you do /find files, hit enter, and that's it. How do we verify? Let me see, what's the command doing again? It's okay. Oh, I can see that from here. Yeah, but you can always cut to see. So it's going to send to here if at all there are files like that. So we can now cut root sized files.txt. Hit enter, you see the files are there. That's us, we're done. So the second one is conditional script. So we need to create a file, a script called career.sh that is able to do these things. Let's clear this. We're still in our directory. So if it specifies that the script should be in a particular directory, please go into that directory, or at least specify the absolute path to that directory. That's in your exams if that's what you're being asked to do, for example. But in this case, we do not have a specific location that the file must be, the script must be created in, but we've already created scripts, right? So why not? Let's use that. Okay. So it outputs yes, I am a systems engineer. So let's see. So let's create that. Vim, I'm using Vim. As I said, it's my choice. You can use any editor. So career.sh. Hit enter. I to insert. We start shebang. Shebang bin bash. That's the shell we want to use. Just a comment to say this totally optional. In some cases, some people use this opportunity to write the author. Who is the author of the script? That's myself. Maybe the purpose of the script. I don't know, to I don't know, check career, anything. This is totally optional. Okay, so it outputs yes, right? If okay, it outputs yes, I am a systems engineer when run with .career. That's if you run the script and provide me as that's this, because I said I showed you earlier, if you want to run the script, it's ./. So but the point is, if you run the script with me as the string, it should output yes, I am a systems engineer. That's just the point. And if you run it with they, it should output okay, they do cloud engineering. And then if you leave it empty, or if you do not provide any arguments, then it should output this. It should tell you how to use the script. Let's do this. First, this is just conditional. So if conditional statements, if you open braces here, note the space between the brackets. So if the input you get, so user inputs, the first the user argument, if the first argument is equal to me, string me, right? If that's the first argument, so the syntax we're going to use is the if then else, right? For scripting, for bash scripting, it's quite similar to other programming languages you might already be familiar with, Java, Python, whatever it is. It's somewhat similar. So this like if else. So if then you've got if you give the condition, right? If condition, if input. So $sign here is the first argument. So for example, where do I show you this? So for example, if I say ./career.sh, if I provide me, this would be $1, the first argument. If I provide, I don't know, whatever, Haruna, this would be the second. That would be $2. So if it's a script that's supposed to take multiple arguments, if I provide something like Adam, whatever, that will be $. So this will be $1, $2, and $3, right? So if you need more, I'll probably make a different video on bash scripting, but this is focusing specifically on the exam objectives, exam questions, I mean like practice questions, things that you're likely to find, very likely to find in the RHCSA exam. So if this condition is true, right? If the argument, the first argument, which is me, if that's true, then I want to echo what's the output? It says here, I want to echo yes, I am a systems engineer, right? So you semicolon there. If this condition is true, I want to echo that. But elif, that's elif. Else if, that's else if in Python, Java, or the programming languages. So elif, so it means if this condition is, if this is not the case, if I get something else, I like closing before I type, just in the middle. Elif, the same argument, $1. If it's, that's now number 2 we're doing. If it's they, if that's if what the user enters as an argument is they, elif, then you should echo what are we echoing? We should print, okay, they do cloud engineering. Yep. But then there's still another condition. What if it's empty? So elif, still elif, the condition to check for if it's empty, use -z. If the argument is empty, that's if $1 is empty, right? I want to tell the user, please enter an argument or invalid arguments. Or yeah, I want to tell the user, I can either say usage, or let's do exactly what they're asking, but we will need to close with it's empty. Okay, let's because we need to handle either invalid and empty. So this is supposed to be like maybe 3 and 4, but yeah, but you get the point. So if it's empty, I want to tell the user something like, please enter please provide an argument. Anything. This just English. It can be anything. Just make sure it makes sense. Please provide an argument. For example, please provide an argument. Something like maybe me or they, for instance. So finally let's close this with an else statement. So one of these conditions will need to one of these will have to happen. Else, anything else, right? If else, just echo. Oh, I missed something. I've seen it already. So elif then, yes, elif then, do this. Else, which is the final one. Else echo. You can now else echo. Now we can say usage, right? Let's say usage, just in case maybe the person is not doesn't know how to use the script, for example. Yes, and then to finish the if statement, the syntax for bash is fi. So this is the beginning, and then you're closing it here. And each if then this condition, if it's true, else you do elif then, keeping in mind what we're trying to achieve here based on what the exam question is asking, for example. So please provide an argument, or you can we can just say argument cannot be empty, or please provide, and this just totally up to you, but this should get us ready. So I'm just scanning through, even though sometimes it's very difficult to see if there are any problems until you run the script, but yeah, I'm just looking to see. Anyways, so escape colon right quit, because I'm using Vim. If you ls, these are second script. You can see if I ls-al on career, that's the new script we just created, you can see that it is not executable. So let's just chmod +x to make it executable. ls-al, it's now executable. So let's test this. It's very easy. We can just provide all the arguments that we can try the different different scenarios. So if we /career /career, let's, with no argument, hit enter. You see, please provide an argument, me day, right? Let's say career. I'm trying all the things that shouldn't be, let's see, and we provide something randomly. You see, it says usage. This based on what we've provided in the script. If we run it now, let's try and do the right thing. Career me. Why me? No such file or die. Oh yeah, of course. Career, the file is career. Yeah, then argument me. Yes, I'm a systems engineer. If we do career and we say day, okay, they do cloud engineering. Yeah, that's it. Our script is okay. We can just cut the script and you can have a look again. Of course, you can always take this, you can always go back in the video, and but that's this typically a way you can take care of this task, this problem. So task 3, file processing input, and it's also part of the objective. And so this is about creating users and groups. There is an exam objective for managing users and groups. Let's revisit just a glimpse. If you come down, I think it's somewhere, manage users and groups, for example, right? But I have included this here with create simple shell scripts because this is asking us to create users using bash, using shell scripts. And this use case is very important because it can help you handle, where's my terminal? Yes, it can help you handle a scenario where you have to create a long list of users, maybe, I don't know, 1,000 users or 500 users or 20, 30, 50 users. You're not just going to be saying user add user A, change the password of user, things like that. That's not what. So the point of this shell scripting automation, even though now Ansible is sort of handling this, but then for the RHCSA exam, the point is you being able to automate the process so that you can take inputs, because the exam, in part of this, it says processing output of shell commands with a script. Process script inputs, these are like arguments. We've covered this, loop, conditional looping, and what write a shell script that creates users and groups according to the following parameters. So we have these parameters, we have these users, and then we need to write another shell script that will set passwords for these users that we have created. This is going to be interesting. So for you to be able to do this, you need to know how to create a user and how to create a group. So it's just user add to create a user add then username, or group add then username. But users have attributes. They might belong to a particular group. So that's what's happening here. We've got a user here, Mariam, that we're supposed to create, for example. They've got UID as well. So this is the UID of the user, and then they belong to this group. 2 groups actually, HPC admin and HPC managers. We've got another one, Adam. This is the UID of Adam. Adam belongs to sysadmin. And then we've got Jacob. It's got this UID, and then they belong to HPC admin. If you look at this well, you'll see that we only need to create 2 groups. You cannot create a user and assign them to a group that does not already exist. Yeah, I don't think I need to repeat that, but yeah, it's important to know that we need to have HPC admin and HPC managers existing first before we can We can create this user, for example, Mariam, but we cannot assign them to HPC admin or HPC managers because that group does not exist. So first, let's start by creating the groups. I am going to use a file. Let's create a file that will contain the groups that we need to create. So I'm trying to make this as practical. By practical, I mean as applicable to production environments as possible while still solving the problem at hand. What I mean is, I did say this earlier, you could have an environment, a production environment, where you need to add, to create users, maybe 200 users. So you could have a file with a list of users, maybe a CSV file with a list of users. You take that file and feed it to your script, to your bash script, to run to create the users or to create the groups. So I am being as practical as possible as you could. As how do I put this? I'm trying to make sure that we do this in a way that it is applicable to production environments as possible, not just lab playing around. No, this is what you typically do. Let's enough of the talks. Let's see. So first, where are we? We are here. We've got this file. So let's create a file. Let's call it groups.txt, for example, a text file first that would have all the groups that we need to create. How many groups do we need to create? This is just a text file, mind you. It's not the bash script itself. So this text file is going to be used in the bash script. You get to see that. Yep. How many groups do we need to create? We need to create HPC admin and HPC managers. HPC admin, HPC managers. Oh, sysadmin as well. So 1, 2, 3 groups. Groups will have names. So let's start with HPC admin. They will have names, and they would have group ID, GIDs. So let's say this can be any. If we are given this, if you are given this in the exam, you use that. But if not, you can use any value for the GID. But the UID has to be what you're provided with. So now, first thing, we're trying to create the groups. So HPC admin, for instance, let's give it a GID of 50/50. And then the next group, HPC managers, let's give them, let's say 60/60. These are random GIDs. Another group is sysadmin. It should be maybe sysadmins, but yeah, no problem. 70/70. So what we're trying to do is, we're trying to create the groups first, and we want to take that. The objective is, one of the objectives is processing output shell commands within the script. So yeah. So now we have groups and their GIDs. These are the parameters that you typically use to create a group. So write and quit. So we have that file, groups.txt. So now we create the shell script that would use this file. We'll use input from, we'll use this file. So let's call it maybe group add. Let's call it create groups.sh. That's the shell script itself. So because it's a shell script, enter, insert, I for insert, shebang, bin bash. I don't need to do any long story grammar with that in terms of comments and stuff. So we used an if if looping construct. Here we can use a while. So while the file separator, I used colon. So while it is still colon, right? I want to read from that file, the content from that file. I want to read the group and the group ID. This group and group ID are just variables. You'll see, just be patient. These are just variables. Variables that would, you know, we already provided group and group ID in the file. So these are variables. While this read that and add the groups, but we can make this a bit more descriptive to say, while that is true, I want to echo something like creating a group with creating group. You're calling that variable now group with GID of GID, and then we create the actual colon, of course, the semicolon, and then we create the actual group. This just for syntax, just to have everything properly. So we create, now we use group add. What arguments do we need for group add? We need the group dash G. That's dash G for, where is it, for group, and then the GID, and colon. We have yeah, of course, while this is true, I missed something, I just realized. While do, so while this is true, I want you to do this. Yeah, while this is true, I want you to do this, and I want you to echo I'm creating a group on this, and then done. So while true, do this and done. But in this case, we want to take the content of this file, groups.txt, the file we created, right? So let's go through quickly. So while the file separator here is still colon, I want to read the content, you know, of this file. So this will run, but it's going to take this. You know, we have input and output redirection. So this input is going to take this as input and feed it to this script. This is optional, of course. It's just to make it look a bit more, you know, presentable when we run the script. So that's it. So I'm going to write and quit this. So we have groups. Where is it? Create groups.sh. So let's make that executable plus X. Create groups.sh. If I run that, that's it. It's there. So now we can, just to be, let's check what are the groups that we want to create. So if I say get end group, and I look for HPC admin, if I hit enter, there's nothing, because that group does not exist. Just to be clear before we run the script. So let's run create groups.sh. If we do that, it is going to take this as the input and run based on what we've was it create group GID 5050 invalid group. Let's see, HPC, what's the problem? Invalid group ID. What did we do? Let's open the script again. Let's try and troubleshoot this. Create -G. Oh, of course, I'm sure some of you must have seen this, noticed this, and be like, yeah, of course, this is not going to work. So it's expecting the GID, not group. Sorry about that. So let's give that. Yeah, so group, the syntax is since -G group, that's, and then a GID, then group. Okay, right quit GID. Oh, okay, I see what's happening. The values we picked for 5050 and 6060, the GIDs are already in use, but GID 6060 7070 is available. Thus, let's see if that's that group has been created. Get end group. what is it? Group get and group sysadmin. Yeah, exactly. So okay, I see. How do we fix this? Remember, I told you that the values here in this file are, I just picked them randomly. So we can change these values just so they are already in use. So let's say 1990. And then, and if of course 8080 maybe, if it's the exams, if it's in the exams, this would be specified for you. You know, if they want you to use a particular UID or GU or GID or group ID. So if I write and save this, remember we already have sysadmin group, but let's run this again just so we see. So dot create. So you see sysadmin's already there because, well, we have it. But the one we just created now, you see it created the group. Yeah, because we changed the GID to something that's available. Great. Now we can get end group to look for HPC managers. You see now it's existing. We've created that to this with this GID, and if you check the other one, it's going to be the HPC admin. So now we're done with creating. We have the groups, the users. It's quite similar. So we need to have a file where users.txt, a file where all the users will go in a text file. In this case, we can simply copy, because that's all the parameters, all the attributes the users need. We need the username, we need the UID, and then we need to add the users to particular groups or group in this case. So that's it. Write this and quit. Now we write the script. So create users.sh, right? Hit enter. Shebang bin bash, the shell we want to use. So while ifs is still the file separator is this, I want to read what are the attributes. I want user, I want UID, and I want groups that the user belongs to. So while this is this, I want to do this. I want to say I am creating this optional, but just to make it you know, presentable, creating user this with UID belonging to groups, for example, right? Then now we want to create the user. So user add, that's the command, create users. User add, what's the argument? G, uppercase G is like a list of users separated, comma separated. So if it's just one user, to add, if it's just one group, sorry, to add, it's a list of groups. If it's just one group, it will add it to just a group. So groups, that's the variables. These are variables, this, and this. Now we're calling them groups. Dash U, that's the UID. Then we'll say UID. Then dash, and then the username. The username is user. Let's see what's missing. So group, UID, and then the user. Yeah, I think that's it. Or yeah, colon at the end, a semicolon maybe. Yeah, semicolon here, then done. And we take the users.txt as the input file, the file we created. So let's write this and quit, and let's make sure that this file is executable. Create users.sh. Well, if it is, then we can run it, run the script. Yeah, .sh. You see, now I'm creating user Mariam with this UID belonging to these groups. You see, creating Adam belonging to this group, creating Jacob belonging to this group. Finally, it says here, write a shell script that sets the passwords of these users we've created. So let's say we're here now. Let's vim a script called, I don't know, setpass.sh, right? So this another bash script. So insert shebang bin bash. So for this we're going to use for. So we've used if, we've used while, now we'll use for this. I'm trying to cover, you know, just everything you need for the exam. So for user, for example, for user in, we have a list already. They've given us a list, Mariam, Adam, Jacob, right? For this, loop through this list, right? For I want you to do this. So echo, what's the password? The password is we can put this in quotes, but let's password at 1, echo this, and pass that into the command to change the password is pass wd, but we want to take input from, let's say, std in, standard input, std in user, for example. What I mean, this variable, right? So we're for user in Mariam, Jacob, this do, yeah, let me, since I'm used to doing this on the terminal, that's why. So do, yeah, it's much better for this. Yeah, do echo pass, you know, the password, and then take this as input. Where is it? Pass wd, and yeah, done. That's it for this. So we want to loop through, and we want to put this value, whatever the password should be, as the input to the pass wd command. So if I right quit and ls, we still have that. Let me clear ls, we have that script. So let's chmod plus x for, where is it, setpass.sh. Now we can run setpass.sh. Now you can see it worked. Changing password for this successfully updated for Adam, for Jacob. Keep in mind that this script could also take inputs from users. So let's say if it's a long list of users, we can provide inputs as well. But the point is, the goal is for us to be able to test, you know, if while and for, and then user inputs. You know, we've covered, I think, a lot in this video. So I would like to thank you for watching this, and the next video would be on this operate running system. So I would like to thank you for watching the video, and if you've got any question, if you need any clarifications, please drop a comment, ask any question, and I would be sure to respond. Also, please, if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing if you find this useful. If you know someone who might benefit from what I am doing here, please share with them, give a like, and I would see you in the next video, which should be operate running systems. Bye bye.